Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.
Hey Alan, we're here in Stampede Reservoir. This is about our 5th time kokanee fishing this year. And we thought we'd go through what we've seen other people do, what we've also learned, and we're gonna call this what type of video?
Yeah, probably 5 of your most common mistakes fishermen make.
So what would you start with number 1? Basically, we go out in the morning and lots of times we will be hooking up and other people won't be hooking up. What do you think people can try?
Well, when I first start, I always dump out my lead core before even I get the downriggers ready. So I get that lead core out, and usually lead core, I use 12-pound test lead core. I'm going to get probably about 6-7 feet per color. So I'll go out, dump it out 2 colors. It's set way back behind the boat because I use a 30-foot leader, 10-pound test mono, and drag it. And before I get the downrigger set up, I usually have a fish on.
So lead core goes like 6 or 7 feet per color. So what's the difference? Like if I put out 5 colors or 6 colors, why can't I just put out 35 feet on my downrigger? What's the difference?
You can, but when I let out 5 colors of lead core, it's probably about 200 feet behind the boat. Where when you hook up with your downrigger, you know, you're right by the cables. And sometimes the cable bothers them, and a lot of times it don't, but the lead core will always put fish in the boat for me. Especially early in the year when the fish are up in the upper of the water column, say 35 feet and shallower, then that lead core is kind of hard to beat. She wants me to spill all my beans.
Okay.
Hey, fish, get it.
So,
Record. Hey, you're gonna lose it. You gotta reel them in backwards when you use lead core.
hold on, let me be Alan.
There you go.
That's kind of interesting. So you go about 50 feet out, but then also one thing that we also talk about and we mess around with a lot is the setback from the boat, and actually it's sort of the inverse. We actually bring it in a bit closer than a lot of other anglers.
And the reason I do that on a downrigger is because of the action. So when you put, say, like 60 feet out behind your downrigger cable and clip it in, your dodger is lazy, so it goes like this, it sways. And the closer you pull it to the cable, the more radical it gets. So a lot of times I'm 8 feet back. That's it, 8 feet.
And do you go closer in the further it gets along in the day?
Yep, because it's going to move around more radical and it'll attract more fish.
And they're more aggressive normally during the day.
Correct.
And then we see a lot of people, they'll come here and they'll just use like the same color the whole day, and they'll say, wow, the bite really turned on around 11 o'clock. But what do we normally like to do as far as using our different lures?
You know, color choices is, no matter what kind of fishing you're doing, is real critical. Number one is, like, I use my electronics, so when I see those fish and I troll through them and I'm not getting bit,
This is a massive school of kokanee between 35 and 55.
then I change. Because fish don't see colors, they see shades. So you got to get that right color shade that, you know, that they can see your bait wobbling around. And usually, rule of thumb, darker the color, the deeper you go, the darker the color.
So the mistake number 3 is really using very translucent or white colors when it's real cloudy or real early in the morning.
Yeah, so everything comes in factor. You got cloud cover, you got wind where you got a ripple on the water, you got water clarity where you can see down 10 feet or more in most lakes. Then you have to make the adjustments. Having a ripple on the water, I would, you know, go to a darker color, because obviously it's going to take the light out of the water.
I would say mistake number 4 is kind of a new one that we just realized today. We've seen people come out and they'll bring, you know, their shoe peg corn, and they'll just bring one type. And let's say they put a lot of scent in it, like anise or bloody tuna, and they don't get bit because sometimes they change. So we normally bring 2 types of corn, but still we had a learning lesson.
Yeah, so look at the expiration date on your tuna, and if it's over, then I would get rid of it, because it must be some kind of rancid on there, because it's not working very good today. And I went to my backup, you know, the Polsky corn in a jar for backup, and we start catching fish.
Yeah.
So something in that, being a cheap guy. So, you know, it made a little difference today. So
basically, if you can't feed it to your mama, well, you didn't feed it to your mama, you actually offered your friends on the boat today lunch for tuna sandwiches. Now we know where the tuna came from.
No, I didn't. I wouldn't poison you guys.
You trying to poison the kokanee?
Yeah.
Mistake number 5, and it especially applies to a fishery like this, where the average sizes are about 12 to 17 inches, and so the mouths are still really soft.
Yep. So usually when you're on a downrigger, you put the clip in. Usually, you know, if the fish are big, you'll hit it and then pull it out of the clip. But this time of the year, early in the year, a lot of times, you know, they can't get it off, so they're not as aggressive. So then when you see your rod bouncing like this, you know you got a fish on there. You have to remember your line's going down like this to your downrigger cable, then out. So when you yank the clip off, you got the bow between the lines straightening out. So a lot of times they'll come off. So you got to pop it off real fast and reel until you feel it, and then stop, and then fight them in slow.
So don't horse them in.
No, you don't want to horse these guys in.
And don't fly them into the boat. Oh wait, that's what you like to do.
You'll lose too many if you horse it in. Like, she thinks she's bass food. But you have to be real gentle with them. They have soft mouths. Oh! Catch and release.
Oh my God, farmed it. And we did already last year, we did 3 good videos on kokanee fishing, talking about exactly how your lures, setback, your tackle and gear. We go into depth about how to use the downriggers.
We even did one on having a hot boat, remember?
Right, and actually, this should have been mistake number 1, because we are sitting on a formerly hot boat. What happened last week?
Yeah, we came out here to Stampede, and Tom got this new boat, got a Scotty downriggers on there with a wire, and we're trolling. And I had other friends here on the lake, and you know, I saw them netting right away, you know, and in an hour they had their limit, and I had 2. And I'm going, what the heck's going on here? And I found out, you know, just from analyzing the situation, I wasn't marking a lot of fish on the graph, that the fish were avoiding us like the plague. And it took me a little while.
Got one.
I started, where?
Right, this one.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh. Oops.
I edited it.
Like,
I edited it out.
were we talking about the horsing in part? That was mistake number 4, I believe.
So anyway, getting back to last week when we were out here, Tom had negative charges going off that cable, and we couldn't get bit. I had to start zigzagging around, making big loops, and we'd pick one up here and there, and finally caught our limit. But it was a hot boat. That's the first time I've ever been in one, but I've heard of it a lot, and we did a video, and I showed you how to check it. You can look back
With a multimeter.
You know, voltmeter and digital, and check it and see. If you have a negative charge, you're not going to do very well.
Yeah, and is that just Scotty, or Canon has that as well?
Most of the time on Scotties, the Canon ones, it could even happen on a manual downrigger. It doesn't have to be electric. It's something with the cable in the water trellises to your boat. And Canon, they have a circuit built in their electric downriggers that any voltage that comes out of that downrigger will be a half a volt no matter what it is. it'll make it into a half a boat.
And you kind of confirmed your suspicions when you pulled up the downriggers and everything in the water. Magically, your fish finder screen just got filled up with fish. So, you know, they were completely avoiding coming underneath the boat or anywhere around the boat. And so you pulled the downriggers out.
Yep,
so what did you do to rectify the problem?
I went to braid. You could have got a Scotty black box, which you could adjust the voltage on there, or go to braided line. So I went to braided line, solved the problem.
Right.
So like I was telling you guys earlier, I'm going to show you how to test your downrigger to see if it's hot or not. So all you need is basically a little voltage meter, and you want to set it on the lowest setting that you can set it on. And you want it on DC voltage. So then I put my meter here, and then while you have the downrigger cable in the water, trolling speed, you ground it. So this is an aluminum boat, so I could ground it right here. And then you just touch the positive onto the cable. And look, I'm reading 0.6 volts, a half a volt. So Canon downriggers, if you have electric, they automatically will give you 5 to 6 volts. So here I'm going to show you. I'm going to reverse the polarity on here real quick. Now look what that meter says. You see that minus 0.63? You see the minus on the left-hand side? You have a hot boat. You are not going to catch anything. So I'm going to switch it back now. Put the negative where it's supposed to be, put the positive, and I'm running a half a volt. So if you have a negative charge coming off that cable, you're not going to catch very many fish. I don't care what kind of fish you're catching. So a negative charge, when you get a negative field off that cable, they just go around you. They will stay away from the back of your boat, and you won't catch anything. So the only company that I know of that makes something that you could fix it is Scotty, and it's called a black box. You put that on, it actually goes, there's an end that goes around, the cable travels through, and there's a box that you control, and you can control exactly how much voltage coming off your line. So, but if you have a Canon electric, you have no problem. The other downriggers, and this could also happen on a manual downrigger. Just because you have a manual, you could still have a negative charge. So get it, have a little meter like this and test it, and at least you know that's not your problem because you're not catching any fish. Could be your tackle, could be your corn.
So I think those top 5 learning lessons or mistakes, that can really help anybody learning to fish kokanee, or people who've been fishing for a long time and maybe they might be able to up their productivity level.
Correct. Probably catch more and maybe limit out quicker and go home. So guys, if you like my channel, hit that like. Please hit the subscribe because it'll help my channel out a lot.
Yeah.
If you look on the bottom, you can hit that button and leave me a comment, and I'll usually get back to you within 2 or 3 days. You can look back. We've done over 100 videos, and you can look back at any of them. And at any time, you can bring it up and look at it and even ask me a question.
So please take a chance. If you're interested in learning more about kokanee, try to check out our other videos from last year. I'll put it in the end card at the end if you want to click on those. And we hope to see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Are my glasses straight?
They are, but your head is a little crooked.
Okay.
Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.